Hi, and welcome to
Just History
with your host Logan.
And Woo,
Today we're going to be talking about the up-and-coming trade war between the USA
China,
and everyone else. Stay tuned. Beautiful. Quick.
Perfect.
Easy. To the point. Alright, welcome back to
Just History.
So, as we were talking about, Trump and his new tariffs on solar panels and washing machines. Woo, why is the US doing this?
Well, ever since President Trump has been elected, the trade war between US, China, and Russia has been unavoidable.
It certainly has been accelerating. So specifically the US has put a 30% tax on solar panels and also washing machines. So the big thing is, why is the US doing this? Why are we doing this to China?
Well, in the past few years, China's economy has been growing rapidly. And rapidly, I mean extremely fast. China has been expanding all over the place, building infrastructures through the One Belt and One Road program.
Oh yeah, the new Silk Road,
Yeah.
part of being the world's second largest economy and possibly the first. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, I get it. So economic competition against China. America's afraid of losing its position of power as the preeminent, seller of stuff to the world. But what about the washing machines? The washing machines come from South Korea. Why does the U.S. have tariffs on washing machines from South Korea?
Well,
They're our ally in the region. And not just an ally, they're our puppet state. Like, we've owned them for 68 years.
my view on this, I think, is that U.S. is saying that South Korea is not as valuable to them as they were before. So that's why they're putting tariffs on washing machines.
I think you definitely have some point there. I think they're still viable to us in the sense of like foreign policy, like they're our frontline military base and they make nice television screens. But actually, I drive a
And
Kia.
nice phones.
And I drive a Kia. Those are great cars. Thank you, Korea. But I mean, part of the thing is this: America made a deal for the longest time. We've had a deal that in the so we had a deal that we are breaking the deal. Shortly after World War II, Japan, Korea, Europe, large parts of the world were devastated economically, completely destroyed, flattened, bombed out, dead. And America invested in them heavily. We helped them rebuild factories, latest technological equipment, the latest everything. It was this huge effort because we were afraid they would go communist. Of course, we did not match that in our own local industry. I remember my grandfather worked at a factory that was still using 20, 30-year-old equipment. And when they asked to be given, some of this new mass investment, they were
rejected.
Rejected because we were not afraid of a communist revolt in Detroit, partly because we killed all the socialists and trade unionists who would revolt. We crushed the bread. But we were afraid of our allies going communist. So we thought, well, why not just invest in them? And the deal is this. We own you. We keep our soldiers there. You're the front line of our wars. But you can sell stuff to us. Lots of stuff. More stuff than you could possibly think. And I think Donald Trump is finally trying to address that imbalance now. Of going, no, it's time that America starts building things at home. Which maybe is a message to those countries that maybe they should stop licking our boot and being our little puppets because they don't get to ride the gravy train anymore. They just get to be our frontline states in case of nuclear war.
Also, Logan, in response to that, China has put tariffs on U.S. chicken and automobiles as well. What's your take on that?
I respond to so on the one hand, this definitely looks tit for tat. On the other hand, China's already had tariffs on sugar for years. Years. I think really this is more of a thing of, what's that phrase, virtue signaling? Mm-hmm. China gives a big lip to defending globalized trade and challenging the US and the WTO, but the fact is China also protects its own economic interests. I do think, of course, the more China does these, the more tariffs the U.S. puts on China, the more tariffs China will put in response, and it does mean that other countries which produce those goods and sell them to China will be definitely doing better and worth investing in, and also any Chinese companies involved in that. I mean, any Chinese poultry producer is going to be the place to be if they ever put a tariff on U.S. chicken. So the big thing though is I do believe that there's this inward-looking thing now where Trump and U.S. elites who support Trump's actions on this executive order are trying to bring industry and development back to America, which is something we have forgotten for so long. I mean, at least since 1971, when America basically threw Bretton Woods out the window and said, we only need an economy based on banking, shady loans, and real estate investment. Oh, and fractional reserves, whatever that is. I actually know what that is, but...
Also, let me bring up a good point, Lynn. That China is using these solar panels to try to promote solar energy, but also at the same time, China is taking a huge hit because solar panels are not really that valuable. They're actually kind of worthless.
Yes, the problem is China is making solar panels at a loss, which is fine because their economy is so strong they can subsidize it. So they produce solar panels, which looks great, and they sell it to people who are foolish and being subsidized by their government to pay China. So literally governments subsidize their people to pay China money for solar panels. Now the problem is this: subsidies are not very efficient. They encourage waste, they encourage poor design. Solar panels will one day be efficient. They will one day be worthwhile. That day is not today. You can tell this because, you can tell this is true because the European Union, those tree-hugging, fake hippie, God, I can think of so many words, but they're impolite. The point is the European Union has put a tariff on solar panels coming from China. Guess what the tariff is?
30%.
30%. They did the exact same thing last September. Do the exact same reason Trump did, which is that we want to encourage local producers to make solar panels. There were the same complaints. EU, you're going to hurt renewable resource development. You're going to hurt our companies that install solar panels. Who the hell complained about people who install things? Like, is that the height of your nation's industry? Is that the height of our industry? Installing solar panels? I'm so proud of 2018 America. God. Anyhow, the point is the European Union put tariffs on solar panels for China, hoping to encourage local investment and local production. And when you have that, you will see improvements in solar panels. You will see you will see more research, more development to make it better because they can't sell it. And people won't buy it until it's better. That's what makes people make better things, is when people don't buy your crap. Unless it's good, That's my take on it, at least. Ultimately, though, it comes to the real question. I think this will sum up our episode. Is protectionism good or bad? Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that globalization is good for some part. China, through globalization and through the One Belt One Road program, has built a lot of infrastructure and helped a lot other countries like Pakistan and Africa.
Well, there is certainly that. There is definitely productive globalization where countries invest in you and help you do better things and make roads and make buildings and make ports and expand your stuff and lay rail. And that's nice. That's good. But on the other hand, every sane country has always followed protectionist policies. Every large world economy was at one part protecting their industry. I mean, England, the preeminent world trade free power, was protectionist. In fact, they were so protectionist that when their textile industry was losing out to Indian competition, guess what they did?
They destroyed them.
Yes, they destroyed them. They conquered the Bengal region, they destroyed the looms, destroyed the shipyards, took them over, and then suddenly, completely surprisingly, the United Kingdom went and said, well, you know what, free trade's actually pretty okay when you're selling to other people who have no choice but to buy your stuff. So,
held at gunpoint.
Yeah, or literally held at gunpoint. And the point is this, China under Mao was protectionist. They weren't saying, oh, please, America and UK, sell us your Guaylo goods. No, they were saying, get out, now's the time for China to stand up, China, we will make our own stuff. And I think this is Trump's moment now. This is Trump's stand up America moment, where America cuts itself off from the trade empire and starts building itself up again. God, I wish he had quoted Mao in that speech. That would have been so fun. But really, countries that are advanced now, economically, were protectionist at one point, and they only support free trade, they only support globalization when they stand to benefit. NAFTA only happened because American companies stood to benefit. The Mexican farmer can't compete with a US company. Free trade's awful for him. Free trade destroyed his farm and made him have to move to Washington to pick strawberries. Wow, what a great improvement. Thank you, globalization. You helped save my family by making me leave my farm and have to flee across the fucking border into a land of people who don't want me and who I don't like. Great illegal immigration, all because of globalization policies and the death of protectionism. Anyhow, thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of
Just History.
The real question we're trying to answer here is whether or not the US and China will have a trade war and what that'll even look like.
Or will it lead up to something bigger, like World War III?
Yeah, ultimately everyone, well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. Well, thank you for tuning in for this episode of Just History. Please tune in next week and subscribe.